Hello, you're tuning into Uni Tunes, the show where we seek to showcase the sounds of Australian music. I'm Finn, and today I'm stoked to be chatting to Hannah Brewer. Thanks so much for joining us on the show. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
All good. Excited to have you. And before we get into it, we just want to acknowledge and pay our respect to the traditional custodians and the land we're on, together with the people of the Eora Nation. So Hannah is an independent singer-songwriter from Sydney's inner west who has been making waves with her ear-grabbing storytelling and vocal tone. Before we dive into that, shall I hit you some rapid-fire questions?
Cool.
All right. Firstly, how would you explain your sound in 3 words?
I was thinking of a word and it's hyphenated. So I don't know if it counts as 3, but I'll say that it counts as 1. Tongue-in-cheek, honest, and I don't know. I want to say fuzzy, but it's not actually that fuzzy. But I'm going to go with fuzzy as a mood.
Okay. No, I say that. I'll take those 5 words and count them as 3. You're on a desert island for the rest of your life. You can only listen to 3 artists on repeat. Who would they be?
I've been really into the Rolling Stones recently. So probably the Rolling Stones, and then Dora Jar, I love. And then my third one, Lola Scott, because I love her.
What is one album you just can't get enough of lately?
The Amyl and the Sniffers album is really good. I like that one.
Perfect. What is your unpopular opinion about music?
That it is deep, but it's also not that deep. I think music should be fun and accessible to everyone.
I love that. That's just my life motto nowadays. It's not that deep.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Final rapid fire question. If you had to nail it down to 1, what would you say is the most memorable gig you've been to?
Memorable gig I've been to? Oh, yeah. I saw Fontaines DC play in Belfast. That was like epic. Probably the coolest gig I've ever been to. That was mad.
Hectic. No, nice. All right, great job with the rapid fire questions. You passed. So you grew up in a family of classically trained musicians. Are you exposed to a range of instruments and musical genres from a young age? And I'd love to know, how did that shape you into the artist you are today?
My grandma was a classical pianist, and so was my great grandma, my mom, and my auntie. So I guess they taught me discipline, because I'd go to my grandma's house for grandma's boot camp and play till I would start crying, which sounds bad, but I think it definitely taught me perseverance and discipline, and it just taught me how to read music. And so I guess I can play the piano now, which is awesome, and it's in my songs.
And beyond your classical background, some inspirations you've cited range from Phoebe Bridgers to Olivia Rodrigo. Do you find yourself drawing a mix of classical and more contemporary sources in your own songwriting?
I think probably when I write, it's a lot more contemporary and pop, because I hear hooks and it's something that's catchy, and that's what I'm drawn to. But then in production, for Headspins, I was listening to a lot of romantic composers like Debussy, and I tried to kind of emulate his piano sounds, so you can kind of hear it in the background. I copy a lot of his patterns, but it's quite subtle. Yeah.
Great. And I'm so glad you brought up Headspins, which is your brand new single, which came out in the latter half of last year. It's a great track. Everyone who's listening, if you haven't heard it, please go listen to it. Could you pull the curtain a little bit back on what this song means to you and the inspiration behind it?
Yeah, so I wrote Headspins a while ago now, but I only finished it last year. But when I initially wrote it, I just moved out of home. It was just after COVID, and I was working 3 jobs to afford rent, because no one was giving me enough hours. And I was having a lot of fun, but I was also not. It was a bit chaotic, and that was just kind of, it's just really about losing control and just feeling kind of, you're spinning out of control. Hence the name Headspins, because my head is spinning.
There we go. Thanks for unpacking that. You worked with a few other creatives on Headspins. What did that collaborative process look like when bringing the track to life?
Yeah, so I wrote the intro, the verse, and I had the chorus idea. And I brought it into a session with Oscar Shara and Lola Scott, so good friends of mine, and we just kind of worked on it together. It was really great. I was playing piano, Oscar was playing guitar, Alex was playing guitar, and we were swapping and just throwing ideas around. And we kind of wrote most of the song, we finished it pretty quickly, which was great. It was pretty just kind of came out really naturally.
So you worked with Lowell Scott on this track, and you mentioned that, I believe it was the Desert Island Question. Is one of your favorite artists. So what's that look like to have an artist that you're both a big fan of, but also have the opportunity to work with as a peer?
Yeah, it's so good. Alex was like, Lola was like one of the first like female like musos that I became friends with. Before that, I'd only kind of worked with dudes, so it was really nice to like have like a woman who I see like both like, it's awesome that she's like my friend, but also I love her music. So it just kind of makes me love her music more because I also like her. It's pretty dope to work with people that you also like.
Yeah, sick. I mean, does that speak to the industry at all that you, up until, that point, you'd only really had the opportunity to work with dudes?
Yeah, I definitely think so, particularly like producer wise. I hadn't really worked with that many women or just like generally female musicians until like I've been writing since I was like 15, and I was like 15 and in rooms with like 35, 40-year-old dudes, which is just like, it's weird. Like they're telling me about their divorce and I'm like, oh, sick. I'm doing the HSC. But it's really nice now. I've like found a really nice group of like women that are just really killing it and so talented. So I feel really lucky. But yeah, I think it's definitely a thing, particularly the Aussie music industry, in terms of championing like female musicians. Probably something to work on.
Yeah, no, definitely. I am glad to see progress. But 100%, I think there's always so much more to be done. But it's awesome that you found some great people to work with.
Yeah,
and you've got your EP, Child of Divorce, which I'd also love to talk about, your debut EP, which came back a couple of years ago. Once again, fantastic collection of songs.
Thank you.
How did putting together this record help define your individual sound as an artist?
Yeah, I feel like the EP was kind of an accident, to be honest. Like I didn't set out to make an EP. I was just making songs with my friend in my bedroom, my friend Charlie, Thomas Porter. And then we ended up with like 6 tracks and we were like, whoa, these are actually quite cohesive. But I think it just happened really naturally, to be honest. Like a lot of the nylon guitar was played. Like I play that in most of my songs, and like Nord, synth sounds, piano sounds. But I think it definitely, before that I'd written kind of serious, like I still write serious songs, but I feel like I was able to kind of weave my humor into it in like a tasteful way, hopefully, despite the swearing. But yeah, I don't know. It was a really natural process and I feel really lucky that it came together so seamlessly.
Yeah, no, your tongue-in-cheek lyrics really, that is one of the really fun parts of your music. But you are also often exploring complex topics. How has this process, I guess, resulted as an evolution in your writing over the years?
It was the first time that I'd like really tried to, well, not tried, but like been focused on creating like for me, because previously I'd kind of just like written for the sake of writing, but it was like the first time that I truly like tried to tap into my own voice. That sounds so like douchey, like in my artist voice, but I guess that is kind of what I was doing, and it's helped me like progress heaps as a musician and also just like personally, which is great.
How does using humor in your songwriting help communicate ideas and topics that might otherwise be a bit more difficult to be straightforward about?
I think it just makes everything more palatable for me personally. But also at the same time, it's that whole thing about vulnerability, right? I feel like it's also like a very like Australian thing to like, vulnerability is really hard. And so one of the ways that I feel like a lot of myself and my friends kind of like, we will talk about serious things, but like humor as a deflection, but also just to make the conversation more fun. Like you don't want to, like sometimes it's cool to go to a concert where you're like sitting in 45 minutes of like, whoa, this is like depressing as fuck. But also I like to break it up a little. Like it can still be, I feel like dark humor is really cool and like powerful. And it's like a way to just make things more accessible to people in some ways.
For sure.
Just like palatability, I guess. Something easier to swallow.
Definitely, 100%. And you got to see and I guess it keeps coming back to this idea. I know it's just kind of, I guess, one thing you said, but I keep going back to it. It's not. It can be that deep, but it doesn't have to be. And that really shines through on the album because it is really meaningful and like you can sit in it and really draw a lot out of it. But you're still having fun.
Yeah.
And that's something I think I just really enjoyed about your record and the new song as well. Would you say your live show also works in, those fun elements to kind of make it this like palatable and, just enjoyable experience?
Yeah, like, I mean, I'll still play like the songs. And also I think production does a lot to make things not seem as sad. Because like if you look close enough into the songs, you're like, oh, these are actually serious topics.
Yes.
But if you're just like dancing around your room to like Rumspringa, like it's chill, like it's like fun. You get to like shout stuff and like say weird words. But live, like sometimes if I'm playing with a band, for sure it's like more energy, obviously, because there are people like there. But I'll always break it with like a solo, like guitar, solo, piano song. And then I'll probably just say weird shit because I like when I'm nervous, I tend to just like say words. So that happens. But I think it comes off like it's on purpose. So that's cool. But yeah, when I play solo, it's like a bit sadder because everything sounds way sadder when you're playing it on the piano.
That's true. I want to ask about something you said. You attributed this idea of like maybe making light of things as a very Australian trait, which is I would agree with. Do you think that we see that across Australian music?
I mean, like we've got like I feel like Australia has a pretty strong like band culture, like surf rocky kind of like chill, like lots of cap kind of vibe, surf rock. So maybe, I don't know, like I feel like sarcasm less so, to be honest. Like I'm a big like Lily Allen fan and I really love how like she talks about serious things, but she like says it in a really sarcastic tone because it's just like ridiculous. And sometimes you're like, well, everything is kind of like that is ridiculous. I guess like Amyl Sniffer's like Jerkin is like, it sounds like it's like taking the piss, but it is actually like serious. Like she sings about serious topics just with a lot of swearing. Make it fun.
And you mentioned one of the songs on your EP, the final track, actually, Rumspringa. For anyone listening might not know, what is Rumspringa and what's the significance of that idea to the song?
Rumspringa is like an Amish word that means, I think, jumping around. And it's basically what I interpret to be like the Amish version of a gap year, where they leave their community and they go and live in the outside world. And I thought it was like a good metaphor for like trying to grow up in a way, like trying to leave and just, they kind of tend to go a bit crazy too because they've been like super sheltered and then they're kind of just like pushed out into this crazy big world. But also, yeah, so the song is kind of about that, but it's fun. Like it's an Amish vibe to it. But yeah, the word is also just real fun to say.
It is. And it's fun to hear in the song. And next month is a very exciting month for you because you're going to be opening for Norwegian artist Aurora on the Aussie leg of her highly anticipated world tour. So what was your initial reaction to that news?
I was really confused, but like I was just like, oh, what the hell? I was kind of like, that's crazy. I was really excited, but also I didn't really, like my manager didn't, like kind of forgot to tell me. Like they told me they were pitching me for it. And then like the next email I got was like, oh, we're booking the flights. And I was like, but have I got it though? And they were like, oh yeah. So that was cool. But yeah, I'm super excited. I've been a big fan of Aurora, so it'll be really cool. She seems really awesome too. Just like a cool human.
Yeah, cool. That's so exciting. How are you preparing for this nearly sold out run of shows, including one night the iconic Horton Pavilion? How are you preparing and how is it perhaps different to your normal gigs? I'm
practicing every day. I'm very scared, but it will be good because I'm playing solo, but that's fun. I'll be playing like with track, so it's not all like slow and like ballady and depressing. So it'll be a little more fun. But yeah, I'm just like practicing a lot and doing it in front of my friends and being like, where was I bad? So I can be better.
Well, we wrap up every Uni Tunes interview by asking you to contribute 2 songs to our playlist. Firstly, one of your own songs, and secondly, a song from one of your favorite Aussie artists. So hit us.
Yeah, I'll add my song Headspins. Great, that one. And then also So I Heard by Egoism. I really like that one at the moment.
Felt that track. So good. All right, cool. Well, before we send you off, what can we expect from you in this coming year?
I have a song coming out like 2 weeks after the Aurora show, so that'll be fun. Hopefully more band shows. That's like big on the list, and just I've got lots of music to put out, so that'll be coming. Big things coming. Watch this space.
Amazing. So keen. It sounds like it's going to be a big year for you. And, you know, if what you've released recently is anything to go by, super exciting. We will definitely be watching this space. All right. Thank you so much, Hannah, for joining us on the show today. It's been absolutely wonderful talking to you, and we can't wait to hear everything that's coming. So yeah, have a great day, Hannah.
Thanks, Finn. You too.
Thank you for listening to Uni Tunes.